Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Dead Cells, where we are going to actually do a good job. Today is the day of a good job getting done. We'll take these, maybe a purple run today. We haven't really had a chance to check out this ice crossbow yet. So tap to freeze, hold to inflict a crit. Let's try this thing out. Okay. So it takes quite a while to charge up that crit. It also takes a shockingly long time just to do the initial freeze. I only have to tap the button, but it comes out slowly enough. You are kidding me. That projectile was still coming. Ugh. It's not a great start. Also, this is a dead end. I guess when we get people that low, we should finish them off. It's not a good idea for us to stand and fight a lot at this point because our damage is so low that we're gonna take several seconds to kill enemies. Let's go purple for now. And obviously, we have places to beat. We have a timer to beat. But if it is only going to take me one swing to finish them off after stomp damage or something, probably it makes a lot of sense in that case to just finish the job. Alright, show me something cool. Let's see something purple with a couple pluses on it. I probably don't want to swap out the blood sword. I mean, if we're going purple... Yeah, you know, we're going to spend a lot of time running away from enemies anyway. Let's pick the item that at least can do some damage on the run. Alright, this is going to be an exit to the sewers. Oh, hey, look at that. We can see the other scroll on the map. So we're looking pretty good on the time door here, and then we're not going to worry about time after this. Have we ever made it through the time door after Conjunctivius? There might be a blueprint in there, actually. If we're thinking about a purple build, there are traps and skills that are good. Let's go traps for right now. Alright, probably we're not going to spend anything. I would have if we had seen something that had 2 pluses on it, probably. Let's get rid of this. This whole, this version of the sewers is built in a very confusing way. There's a lot of paths leading off into a lot of other paths. It's hard to get a good, clean exploration on an area that is this shape quickly. Sometimes the map generator plays along a little bit, and most of the time it does not. Alright, so we did really well. The last run went really, really well. It gives me hope. I think this is totally doable. I can beat 2 cells. Do we want to do anything with our cells here? I did try this morning, just doing a couple of runs through, trying to get to the graveyard to see if I could unlock the shovel. The bad news is, mostly what I did is just die over and over again. So you can see I've made a little bit of progress here. Finished unlocking the magnetic grenade. I was putting cells into this knockback shield because I honestly don't think I've ever seen this thing. I'm curious. Knocks enemies back on a parry. I'm curious exactly how far. Alright, so we are going to take it a little bit slower here. We're going to probably do a little bit more fighting. I'm wondering how good this crossbow really gets as it scales up. So let's have a quick look at it here. What do we... 46, 292. So the, the additional damage from hitting the crit is pretty crazy. What we need is to find some more purple equipment and compare those damage numbers, though, to a piece of gear that's actually up, that actually exists for the purpose of dealing damage. Okay, so I don't release it. It fires automatically when it gets to the crit point. And I mean, it's a pretty long charge, but I don't think it's that much longer than, like, the explosive crossbow. And I could be using the freeze first to buy myself an opportunity to actually get it off. Like that. Nope, hold the button down all the way. Okay, there we go. Surprisingly limited range, though, on that critical shot. I don't know. This thing doesn't seem that great. Okay, so the freeze does hit multiple targets. Just, I don't think it was quite going to go off before, man, can I actually hit this? Okay, I can only hit it with charged attacks. I think the health is probably worth it. Okay, I mean, it's fine. It's really slow. It seemed like it was not going to go off before we got hit by that one zombie, so it seemed I definitely have to get it started before whatever enemy starts their attacks on us. Seems like it's doing just very slightly not enough damage to kill, which is not a big deal, because the freezing projectile actually does do some damage. It's like, oh, I managed to roll in front of that guy. Would I rather just go to an explosive crossbow? I kind of think so. Also, the damage on this is way better, and also the shots leave a trail of flames, which is great. We gave that ice crossbow a look. Yeah, I think that is faster. I guess probably the idea is you're supposed to be freezing people with the frost crossbow before actually going for the kill shot, but man, that's going to make fighting every enemy take forever. Like, I already think that fighting stuff with the explosive crossbow feels like it takes an unacceptably long time. So what we really need is some good gear that benefits from burning damage. There's the double damage against a burning target affix does not seem to be particularly rare. Get a couple of decent turrets with double damage against burning to go with our weird flamethrower build that we have going here. I think we could be in a really good place. Also, importantly, a place where I don't necessarily have to be close to enemies to kill them. Because it turns out that being close to enemies is not something I'm super good at. Is this just... yeah, it's just too hard to collect samples. Okay. So somebody pointed out to me that the little lore area that we saw with the trail of slime leading to the big hole in the wall, where I thought, oh man, there might be a boss that we uncover once we do all this lore stuff. Somebody pointed out that probably all that stuff is just referring to Conjunctivius. It's like backstory and lore for him, which makes a lot of sense, but I have to admit is a little disappointing. I would almost rather they had designed the routing somehow such that you would be likely to see all that stuff before encountering Conjunctivius that way, because it feels like it's building to something, and there's a little bit of an anticlimax there, right? To realize that, in fact, it is building to a thing you had already seen. Also, man, I am tired of scorpions. Nope, that's a bad idea. Stupid stealth scorpions get in the way of all my shots. I could really use a turret or something. Okay, that is not a turret. So I'm thinking that maybe I've been undervaluing the trait you can get on weapons sometimes that causes you to heal but take double damage. It causes you to heal when hitting enemies, because we do hit enemies a lot. And, like, it's already the case that in order to be successful, we need to avoid getting hit. We are at the point where we cannot just shrug off pretty much any amount of damage. So that being the case, like, it already being super dangerous for us to ever get hit, I'm wondering if the ability to heal from all the stupid incidental damage I take from traps is maybe more important. Ooh. That is a ++. We're kind of already heading in a direction here. Mostly what I was hoping for was an actual purple melee weapon. We might be relying on colorless stuff, though. We'll get something cool from fighting Conjunctivius. Well, it would be nice to have something before fighting him. Because, as we know, the explosive crossbow is not exactly an ideal weapon for dealing with the tentacles. Huh. I was definitely mid-roll. I tried to roll through and then hit the crossbow, and I guess what happened there is that I hit the crossbow too early. You know what? I think we can take this. So I came up out of the roll while I was still in front of the projectile, but man, it doesn't... Given how things went in today's Enter the Gungeon episode, I have a hard time believing that I'm getting stuff done too quickly. I do not want... We want a colorless weapon, right? This weapon is cursed. It also does double damage against burning targets. You know what? Let's take it. I hate 20% extra damage taken. But, again, it is already bad enough to get hit that our strategy probably should be optimizing around killing stuff before it can hit us. This weapon will probably be fine. Alright, 1, 2... I think these guys being up on that platform prevents them from initiating attacks against us. I think those guys will only do their leap against things that are actually on the same level they are. Oh dear. Okay. You know, we may as well take the magnetic grenade. We're not going to do very much damage with it, but, first of all, it's a new thing that we haven't gotten to see yet in the series, and secondly, honestly, there are some items that are still pretty good, even if you don't have the appropriate stat, and I think that any item that's CC focused fits into that, right? Alright, so we're just going to stomp through this guy. Nope. Oh my god. I very nearly died there. So this is what the magnetic grenade does. It just sort of pulls stuff into the center of it, and then constantly pulses damage on them. It's actually pretty valuable. It's, in a lot of ways, it's better than the something like just a freeze grenade, because, you know, if you can pull things together, then you can hit them all with the same death orb, and it works over a fairly large area. Let's see. Oh, looks like we've aggroed a Mega Scorpion. Not really where I want to be fighting this guy. Teleport back up here. Ah, that's annoying. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's some stuff happening up there. We'll figure that out in a second. Alright, first of all, obviously we're taking this. Enemies that hit you freeze is cool, I guess. And here we have Pyrotechnics. This is an item that we do not have unlocked. Inflicts critical damage on targets covered in oil, as you might expect. What is this? That's not the right button. What does this actually look like in... Yeah, that seems neat. I think we'll take this over the curse thing. Increases movement speed after killing an enemy. Bonus damage to stun targets. We might re-roll this a little bit, but yeah, this seems fine. Has a point of stats on it. Why did I stop? And the damage isn't bad. I don't know that we really need two ranged weapons. This might spell the end of our crossbow. Yeah, this seems neat. There's still, by the way, like a ton of stuff we don't have unlocked, right? It's really cool that when a legendary item drops, it can be a thing that you don't have yet. That's a good way of generating excitement for future unlocks. Excitement for still finding blueprints. Okay, we need to get some oil. It's an ammo-less ranged weapon. It has fairly good auto-aim. So you can see there from it aiming down the platform at that guy. Yeah, okay, so we're looking for something to replace our crossbow with then, because I think I'd rather have this. It would be nice to have a real melee weapon. This is always the problem, right, with a purple build. It's tricky to find a good melee weapon. There is a vine grenade up here, apparently. Yeah, that's probably worth replacing our magnetic grenade with, because at least it does have purple scaling. And it functions in a similar way for the most part. It's a little bit of a shame that we can no longer pull things super close together, but we'll live. And I think it's still the case that we're just going to keep taking curse chests. We are in a good spot right now to survive curses. Definitely not taking that. That's not even good. I mean, like, the stun grenade itself is a good item, but that's not a good roll of extra abilities on it. Okay, Ice Shard. This is not a melee weapon, obviously. Although it is a weapon you can use in super close quarters. I don't think so. I don't think that's worth taking. If it had a plus on it already so that we could upgrade it to have a stat point, that would be a little bit more considerable. Okay, I guess we're moving on then. The real challenge here is going to be me not taking any stupid damage from poison pools before we get rid of the curse. It's always an embarrassing way to die. Alright, let's finish unlocking that shield. And then we actually have the cells. We can just get a mutation. Is there a good purple mutation? This is not going to be relevant on our current run, and we have all the other purple ones unlocked. I don't know. We have a lot of the just generally good stuff. I can't imagine actually using velocity. As cool as this idea is, mutation slots are pretty precious. I guess Spite for shield builds is maybe useful. Vengeance is pretty bad. Disengagement is actually not terrible. It's like having a couple of extra lives. Yeah, let's work on this. Unfortunately, well, should we take this with us for now just so that I can see the effect of it? Because I really don't think we're going to use our crossbow anymore. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I'm curious about... No, I'm trying to delete this crossbow. Curious about exactly how effective the knockback on this shield is. And we're in a place where maybe... It's hard to know what I want to do here. Efficiency's pretty bad for us right now, obviously. So we could try Parting Gift. We could just take support, knowing that we probably will eventually end up with a turret. Or... I mean, plus 30% HP is really nice for giving us a little bit of room for error, allowing me to take a hit and still be able to, like, play. Let's take Parting Gift for now. I'm curious exactly how effective this will end up being in real combat situations. The real problem with a lot of these skills is that they're not useful on bosses at all. I'm always a little hesitant to take a skill that does literally nothing against bosses, because I feel like we're still in a place where bosses are the biggest problem. Ooh. Although curses, of course, are also very dangerous, and I do die to being cursed an awful lot, as I almost did there. I didn't see the effect of that, like, growing under the ground thing, because the ground was on fire. It created a lot of visual noise. Well, that's a crappy way to die. Those mushroom enemies are crummy. I wish they could only do that to you... Oh, we have the opportunity to do this again. I wish they could only do that if you were, like, able to see them or something. Because as it currently stands, they can do that attack to you with no way for you to do anything about it because you don't know what's happening. Ugh. I'm just fighting enemies out of frustration. Let's keep moving here. It's alright, at least it was a quick failure, so we can get right back into things. I'm super bummed out about that, though. That pyrotechnics is neat. Not really a way to know where it comes from or how to get it. So unfortunately, who knows if we'll ever unlock it. Also, who knows why sometimes my mouse cursor reappears. Even though the game should be preventing our mouse cursor from appearing. Okay, that guy would like out of his cell. Oh, this is... That's right. This isn't the one that... this is not one of the ones that gives us a radish. Yeah. Probably I should take this. We'll figure out how the knockback shield works sometime in the future. Sometime when we're running a shield build and actually want to use it. You know what? I'm going to try doing purple again. Show me like a better ranged weapon. Ooh, firebrands. I'm not spending money. We are not buying items this early in the game unless they're like actually extraordinary. Ugh. It does kind of feel like they could just have stuff magnet to you no matter how far away you are, right? They made it a thing that can occur as a property on necklaces, but I really don't see what the value is of not having it just work like that by default. I guess maybe they were worried about ranged builds being too safe or something? Let's see, I guess the other entrance would have to be over here somewhere. But like that just means that you do your ranged build, and then after everything is dead, when it is perfectly safe, you walk over and collect your cells. So I don't know. I don't know exactly what is being gained by limiting the range on that. I think we can probably just go here. So it seems like in the initial area, there's always 2 scrolls and then also a treasure chest somewhere. We did not get the chest that time, which I'm fine with. That is another thing to be looking out for. The extra life mutation's a little bit less valuable if you're doing a ranged build where you are intending on taking curses, because obviously, with a curse, you don't necessarily actually get the extra life. If you die while you are cursed, you do not get the benefit. But also, I don't necessarily feel like I know whether I'm going to be taking curses yet by the time we are forced to make that decision. So I'm going purple right now, but with this build, I actually would not feel confident taking a curse. I mean, we don't have a build yet. We have a couple of garbage items, basically. Use a little bit of assistance here. Just, you know, some loot, some anything. Okay, well, I guess I did say anything. I meant like an equipable weapon. Hate these scorpions so much. Alright, well, at least the marksman's bow does enough damage so we were able to get a really considerable amount of healing. Ooh, hey. Alright, rare blueprint. Man, how many of those guys have we fought? This is the first time we've seen this. They really do mean rare. So the biter swarm is just a grenade that creates those little biting worms that we sometimes get from item properties. You know, every once in a while you get an item. It's like when you kill an enemy with this, horrible, creepy worms will come out. Yeah, we definitely need to be thorough on this one, because, like, I just desperately need stuff. Really? There have to be 3 scorpions here? Okay, I think that's everything. And while it doesn't happen very often, it is possible for normal enemies to just drop an item. here's hoping we're going to see an awful lot of that. Or just any amount of that. Any non-zero amount of that. Honestly, the grenade that this sword is periodically firing is the most useful part of this sword. It might, honestly, that grenade is probably the best weapon we have access to. Period. Here. Try to give myself appropriate firing distance for this weapon. Nope. Ah, that's bad. Rolling away from the bullets. Enter the Gungeon taught me nothing. Really? That, man. You know what would have saved us there? If the grenade had fired out of the sword again. Unfortunately, there is an internal cooldown on those things. Yeah, that was just that was a really bad run. We had 0 good items. The marksman's bow is just not. You can't take the marksman's bow if you don't also have another option. It can't be your only weapon. Okay, I think we are going to go ahead and take this blood sword. And the question is, do we want to be a punchy shield guy or a throwing weapon shield guy? I guess for right now it doesn't really matter. We're not super likely to do a lot of fighting here. So I don't know if we've actually had a blood shield before. When we block, it deals... it creates a bleed on the enemy whose attack was blocked. If the block is a parry, it instead creates, like it pulses bleeds out to a large area. I actually like this weapon a lot. Or this shield, rather. Although it is a little bit of a shame that it's not a shield that can roll damage reduction. As it gets better, it just increases the amount of damage that the parry and bleed does. Okay, status effects. Kind of a status effect thing going so far. Also, we have this cool gauntlets that unfortunately take forever to kill enemies. Critical hit is super deep in that combo. Purple hasn't been too good to us so far. I feel like green's very safe because green is the best off-color point to have taken. If we turn out not to have a green build, we definitely will still want to have those points of green fairly early. Because, man, you know what's pretty good is not dying immediately when you get hit. I know, like, the whole thing we're talking about here is just building a strategy around not taking damage. But also, I take damage. So, people have been talking a lot about this ice bow. It does have damage received, damage reduction on it already. Maybe we're doing a purple... Alright. Let's give our purple build one more try. If we're gonna have a bow, though, it can't be bow and shield. Let's... Well, okay, it does that. That's pretty good. Does it... Okay, shots pierce the first target. I was curious whether that is a natural thing the bow does, or if it's because we had a thing for it, but yeah, okay. Oh, that's a... Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping it was gonna be money, but I'll take that. So we're gonna try a purple build again. Show me purple melee weapon. Well, this is not a purple melee weapon, but it is a weapon that douses enemies with oil. This is a purple melee weapon. It, like, inflicts a critical hit when you're not doing well is a fine trait, I guess. Yeah, we can't not take the purple scaling melee weapon. I ordinarily don't spend on stuff on the first level, but it's rare enough to find a purple scaling melee that I guess that's okay. Ooh, that I want. I want that very much. That... How? How could I possibly have been pressing R on that thing? I was so far away, and I made sure to be so far away from that thing when I pressed the button. That was pretty weird. Right? Did it not look like that went all the way past me before it suddenly did damage to me? It was kind of strange. I remember we do have a radish stored up somewhere. Although, we're gonna miss our timer now. Oh my god. All these S-curves, man. It's like you gotta go all the way to the right, then down, then all the way to the left, then down. This is not even the right door. This is terrible. This run is going horribly. Okay, so, given that we can't get the timer, do I want to just... I'm gonna go back and fight some of these guys then, I guess. Make some money. I suppose, for the moment, every one of my melee attacks is a crit. Maybe it does have some natural penetration. Because I definitely hit 3 enemies with that shot. That projectile comes out really quickly. Okay, so there's a significant vertical component on the attack here. You know, I guess we do kind of spend a lot of time under 50% on this difficulty, don't we? You know what? Maybe this knife is actually great. And the attack pattern's really fast. There's a lot of things about it to like. Alright, so we'll keep pushing on for now, and then we'll go back and get the radish afterward. And we're just not going to do any timed doors on this run that's starting half an hour into the video, which is going to make this, you know, a 2-hour-long video if I succeed. I'll tell you what. That's not super likely to be a problem. And if it was a problem, it's the kind of problem I would be okay with having. I don't actually want to go into the next area under 50%. And my plan is still to go fight Conjunctivius because I really... No, I'm not trying to investigate the crate. Hey developers, I know that you want to make games that people can play on a console. But here's the thing, consoles have more than 4 buttons. You don't actually have to map all of the things in your game to a tiny, tiny number of buttons. Just make a couple of different buttons for interacting with the environment. You know, like, let's interact with an object in the background should just have its own button. It should not be the pick items up button. Because, like, that would also solve that problem with a grabbable item on the ground being near the teleporter that takes you out of an area. Alright, so we're gonna try a purple thing here. I'm gonna take support. We're gonna take purple points on all of our stat scrolls for the foreseeable. The fact that I could have taken purple twice and didn't is always going to weigh on us a little bit. But I'm confident we can correct the issue from here. Although, you know, obviously, getting the speed scroll would have been a nice start to that. Yeah, you can weave it into a combo pretty well. It seems like you can start the attack and then roll while it's still happening, and it will come out at the end of the roll. I'm pretty sure that's what just happened there. And yeah, it's absolutely freezing 3 enemies. So I wonder if it is the case that it naturally penetrates 1 enemy, and then this extra piercing thing is giving us the second one for free. Ooh. Wait. Hey, get up there. Okay, is this... They want me to use my head for this? Oh, okay. Yeah. Knife dance over wolf trap? Probably. Wolf trap's not bad, but given that we currently have an ice bow, I don't know that we need more CC. Whichever bomb is the most in your way is always the one that will explode last. I don't know how they manage it. Some impressive root recognition in the programming there. Yeah, and the base damage of this weapon really isn't that bad. Like, we actually only are on 1 point of both of its scaling colors. And it's still fine. Stupid scorpion. Got me all freaked out. I was paying more attention to the scorpion than I was to the archer. Yeah, I don't know. This bow is all right. Unfortunately, it is somewhat unlikely that we're going to be using any of these weapons toward the end of the run when things are actually going to get difficult, but here's hoping we find another ice bow somewhere. Seems like the dungeon really wanted this to be a red run. Okay, no, that time it didn't actually go through. Maybe it just freezes. Yeah, okay, so the frost effect is a little bit of an AoE. So it'll freeze multiple enemies that are close together. And that's how we were getting 3 targets frozen. Once again, we have one of these grenade-throwing melee weapons, and the grenade is tremendously outpacing the actual weapon in terms of damage output. I've always viewed that that trait as just kind of, yeah, you know, if it shows up, that's cool, whatever. But I'm starting to think that the extra grenade and like shoots an arrow in front of you traits are actually super, super good, because additional damage is not just helpful for killing enemies, but also for helping to hit the breach thresholds in order to stun them. Like, this weapon is stopping a lot of attacks that it probably shouldn't be, which is very, very helpful. Nope, nope, get out of the poison. Yeah, this isn't bad. We really need some stat points so that this stuff can start scaling, but it's a cool loadout. There we go. That is exactly the kind of thing I was looking for. We'll probably replace that. Turret build seems good. This way we can take efficiency and get a lot of value out of it. I will say that, like, this ice bow does not make you fight particularly quickly. That was a pretty hard miss there. It's not as bad as some of the other slowing weapons. Like, one of the things I don't really like about the Frost Blast, and I said I didn't like the Frost Blast much, and a lot of people have pushed back on that, but, like, one of the things I don't like about the Frost Blast is the slowness that it adds to the combat. If you want a Frost Blast stuff, you have to stand still for 2 seconds before you can start fighting it, and you're going to do that, like, every time you're fighting more than one enemy, probably, and it adds up. It's a lot of extra time. The slicer we have now is not very good. This one's not a huge amount better. It's probably better for us to save our money for now. And obviously, that kind of timing stuff is relevant. Ooh, shots leave a trail of flames. Yeah, sure. The kind of timing stuff is relevant for getting through the time doors. But also, just for, you know, for the game being fun to play. Is a real problem, I think. You slow down the combat, and it loses... And I guess this is not necessarily true for everybody, but it loses a lot of what I like about the way Dead Cells feels. This ice bow is much better at doing this thing without making you, like, come to a complete halt. Like I said, I'm really hoping we're going to find more than one of these. Should we take the curse chest? Oh, interesting. That time the shot did not penetrate even one enemy. I wonder if there's something special about the bats that makes ranged attacks not go through them if they explode or something. I think we can... Yeah, let's do it. We're a little bit behind our main stat, and also the ice bow does seem to be really effective at keeping stuff from hurting us. Why would I hold R on this? What am I doing? Definitely not taking this. A little bit of a nightmare there of trying to open that door mid-jump and failing and falling in the goo and immediately dying. A very cautious approach to opening doors from ranged was warranted. There's no money to be had here. It's written in red, so it must be important. Make sure you don't miss your guard duty outside the monster's room. It wasn't easy to chain up. Wouldn't like to have to do it all over again. Yeah, and the huge chains. The Conjunctivius is chained up, so I guess that makes sense. Oh, this sucks. Okay, apparently he is not going to follow us. I don't really want to deal with that right now. I'd much prefer to break the curse and come back, if possible. Helpful. Okay, I think we get to do that again up here, and that's going to solve it. Oh, I do have to actually wait for the cooldowns to be up. Okay, now let's go back and get our elite down. This is, like, by far the slowest run that I think we have ever had on this difficulty. Why? Why would I do it that way? Ugh. Okay, well, I'm trying to get myself killed here. You can see, hopefully, why I didn't want to do this with the curse up. Okay, hooray for critical damage. So we're obviously not taking this. We obviously are taking that. And what was that fell down here? A knockback shield, a colorless knockback shield. Boy, they really want me to take a knockback shield. We can't, right? No, we can't. We can't shield an ice bow, and I really don't want to get rid of the ice bow. So let's just move on. We got another point of purple, though, out of the neck piece. That was definitely worth going after. It would have been better if I didn't take so much stupid damage. Oh, by the way, on the subject of the one-shot protection, I said, you know, there's a point at which you lose your one. It only is active above a certain amount of health. Somebody pointed out that, like, when your health bar is flashing, that's what it's telling you, is that you are too low to benefit from the one-shot protection. And I was, like, that seems very obvious, right? Hearing it out loud, like, of course that's how it would work. But I am so used to health bars flashing in video games when they're low, just as a way to tell you, hey man, your health is low, pay attention to your health, man. That I didn't even think about the fact that it would obviously be integrated with this other system. It's kind of an interesting, there's something interesting in there about how unnecessary information conveyance trains us to ignore that kind of information. Like, I've been trained out of caring about the fact that my health bar is flashing or that the edges of my screen are red, because those things are not usually super meaningful. Like, I already know my health is low. I guess it must be a problem for some people. Probably the developers implemented this, the developers of all video games implemented this stuff after finding that, well, I just completely failed to jump up there and got myself hit for no reason. After finding that people were not noticing that their health was getting low, but for me, it has always been just kind of like visual noise, and you get accustomed to it and you stop caring about it. I guess, in a way, this is sort of like a Boy Who Cried Wolf situation. Not exactly the moral of that story, but that story is about how you can be trained to ignore a stimulus. Okay, the Ancient Sewers entrance is already discovered. We have no food sitting around. I guess we're just moving on. I should probably hit the flask. Of course, we do have the alternate option of grabbing the trait that lets you heal from reducing your curse percentage. is make sure that we take a curse on the next level. Although, the next level is where the stupid death mushrooms are. It is kind of the worst place in the game to have a curse. That and maybe like the slumbering sanctuary. Because man, once you wake up the sanctuary, it is real scary in there. Okay. Do we want to do any reforging? I'm thinking that these items are so low quality that we're going to get rid of most of them, probably, but who knows? We might hold on to this ice bow for a real long time. And every one of these that we upgrade is another stat point that I'm adding. And like in the case of a turret, I know it will be purple because it can only be purple. Upgrading the knife's a little riskier because it could give us a point of red. Yeah, okay. We lost our cool burning trait. We could try to re-roll it. The star means that it's quite rare, though, I think. Yeah, let's just save money. Okay, we have 2 mutations. No, sorry, 1 mutation available to take here. I'm going to take alienation. We're going to try surviving a curse on this level. I do really hate those mushroom guys. I'm hoping that our loadout here will help me deal with stuff. Because we can just keep running, right? If the floor becomes spikeified, or if we know it's going to become spikeified, we just, like, throw out some turrets and run. Also, I do wish he couldn't do it on the platform he's on. You know, you couldn't, he couldn't make it unsafe for you to melee him. That would be nice. It is nice to have crits 100% of the time. There's definitely some value to this. Man, it's a shame we weren't cursed for that, huh? Well, we've managed to make it to 9 points of purple already. I think we've made up the difference. Oh my god, scorpions. Here's what I think of scorpions. Ah. Okay. I'll say this, it's a remarkably active fighting style for one that incorporates a ranged weapon that is primarily for its CC. We should probably not switch to this. Right? I mean, we could use the explosive crossbow to actually kill stuff, whereas the ice bow is definitely just about crowd control. And in fact, if we're going to be taking curses, the ice bow then requires me to get right up on top of stuff. Things could happen, right? It's probably actually safer to go explosive crossbow, but I'm digging the ice bow. We're just gonna try it. Okay, so that does still happen even if the guy is frozen. I thought that it wouldn't, but the ground was still like rumbling, so I didn't want to step forward onto it. And I'm glad that I was a little bit cautious there. There is a room directly above us, isn't there? How does one get up into that? I wonder if you have to access it from over here. Doesn't look like there's an entrance. Well, probably there's not actually anything of value in there. It's probably fine. Okay, I think it's on the level below us, which we have to access. I want to get rid of this mushroom down here. don't want to have to deal with that thing while I'm trying to traverse all the other parts of the level. Apparently can't quite roll out of that that bow attack animation as quickly as I would like. However, the crits got us, I think, all of our health back. I think we lost like nothing from getting hit by that scorpion. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Alright, where the heck am I actually going? There's a lot of directions. Oh, this sucks. Yeah, when you try to drop through a platform but you get stopped by an enemy before you actually make it all the way onto the droppable part of the platform, that really sucks. Another knockback shield. It's the only item in the loot pool. Alright, we are taking... This is a curse, I think. And we are totally going to take it, and it's going to be fine. Ooh, a frost... Oh, it's a double plus frost grenade, too. Man, that's very compelling. Like, we need an ice grenade less with our current build than probably we ever have. It's tough to turn down a double plus item, especially one that's guaranteed to scale with your build no matter what. But I think minus 20%. So it doesn't even have damage taken on it because it's removing that. It would end up being a negative 5% damage received item once we buy the other level up for it. And it has a stat point on it. It would have 2 stat points on it. Yeah, we're going to take it. We're going to take it over the thing that's not yet upgraded. That does seem pretty good. Okay. Let us get uncursed as quickly as possible here. What do you think? What do you think? Show me a new ice bow? Ooh, that is a new ice bow. That's a really good one. Shots pierce the first target. Upon thawing, they suffer from bleeding. It'll go up to 20% damage reduction. Yeah, absolutely worth spending money on. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. An Ice Bow 4 is going to give us a lot more time with this thing. In fact, a 4 is totally something you could take to the end of the game. I would like to have higher than that, but we have. I'm pretty sure we have won the game with level 4 stuff in our inventory. Actually, we should probably check that body, right? There you go. He doesn't need this stuff. Okay, is there anything else lootable in this one? I don't think there is. Oh no, just crate of weapons. That is not worth taking. Well, I do like a swarm of biting worms. We would have to upgrade this thing. It's probably not worth taking because I just don't want to spend the money on it. We're gonna have to try to save up to get value out of. Boy, if I could see down below me, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. I don't remember if there's poison down there. Let's just not. Let's not mess with it. Not while I'm cursed. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be very expensive to level up this grenade. Also sure it's going to be worth it. So let's try not to take stuff we have to spend extra money on. The ice bow, I think, was worth taking the upgrade for because we're talking about additional damage reduction on it. I really want to do that, but I think we... Oh, come on. This is the only way to go, huh? Okay, well, time to not get hit by any traps. Can we please have some damn enemies? There you go. That's exactly the kind of enemy I want to see. That guy less so, for sure. It does suck a little bit to have lost my automatic crits. I'm not sure what happened there. I rolled, but the roll didn't come out, but that guy died anyway? Or the thing didn't hit me anyway? Let's just be, like, really safe, huh? Okay, we're almost out of this, and everything about this has worked wonderfully. Okay, actually, here we go. Here's how we get that. Okay, no more crits on our weapon, but things are looking pretty good. Okay, let's go back and fight that elite. Wait a minute. Let's wait until things actually line up here. This is kind of awkward, actually. Yeah, that's... The timing on that, going in that direction, is actually really tight. Okay, that's pretty easy. Covering the ground in oil is not super valuable. Right, we don't have anything that that starts a fire. We could eventually, though. Yeah, let's go ahead and take the upgrade. The very, very slight upgrade. And I guess technically the safest way to do this, and what I should have done to get back there, is just to go back to a portal. Because we have a portal lit on the other side of that trap area. That is really crappy. It sucks that there are any areas like that at all. What have we here? Right, the area where we found the alchemic pistol. You know what, I'm curious what's over here, and we're actually in a position... Okay, it looks like absolutely nothing. We're in a position here where it doesn't hurt too much to take a little bit of poison damage to go and find out. Okay, let's hope that that was the last time we drop a significant distance into damage. Also, I feel like this version of the Ancient Sewers is generated with a really weird amount of super long corridors. Super long, empty, featureless corridors. Oh, I fired the bow the wrong direction. Okay. Well, we made up all the damage pretty quickly there. It is nice to have a fast-firing ranged weapon. I think I really, really like this ice bow. This is good stuff. Also, I like how in the sewers you can just fire the ice bow no matter where you are, no matter what's happening, and you are guaranteed to freeze a scorpion, even if there aren't any scorpions when you fire it, because there will be by the time the arrow actually gets out. The only thing I like about scorpions is how they get hit by attacks that I thought were going to miss everything. In a way, they're just like, they're there to boost your confidence, you know? You thought you really screwed up, but it turns out you were just seeing into the future a little bit. This is gonna work. Okay. I'm doing a good job here of healing off damage. Like, I'm taking a lot of bad damage, but I'm also then getting rid of that damage immediately. What we really need is a weapon that does bonus damage against slowed things. Ooh. Okay, that's very bright. Still, no. Man, just straight plus 100% damage inflicted on enemies. That's interesting. I assume that can only occur on shields. If you got a spiked shield, that just does double damage to enemies. You could really tear bosses up with that. This is bad. Okay. My first jump just did not register, apparently. That sucks. Well, good news, everybody. Auto crits are back. This thing is very effective when you're critting. Like, it's actually really good. That said, I am certainly not going to turn down a radish. I don't know what the circumstances would have to be for me to turn down a radish, but it's not these ones. It's hard for me to imagine us finding a thing that I actually want to buy here. It pretty much would have just been something that already has 2 pluses, right? We probably want to keep a turret around so that we're getting... we're actually getting the DPS bonus from our support skill. This run's promising, though. A nice high-level ice bow does seem like a pretty good item. Yep. Just had that feeling. I had that feeling that it was trying to do something to me. Knew there were going to be spikes down there. So, before we fight the boss, do I want to trade out my skills? There is still... Okay, there's still a little tiny bit of level unexplored. Guess we should go back. Do we want to pay to switch our mutations out? Just for the boss fight? I don't know. It's not super cheap to do so. Probably not, right? I'm not even certain that there's another one that would actually be helpful. Right, we can see that, we can see that, we can see there's nothing there, we can see the wall here. Yeah, okay, we're good. No, go up, up. Oh, I guess this is the teleport. I'm thinking it's going to be closer to the door, but for some reason they want to keep you on the other side of the extremely long elevator ride. Alright, we'll have a look at our mutations. The other question is, should we just save up the cells that we have right now, the fairly significant number of cells, and use these with the ones from the boss to put it into the forge? I think I'm going to finish unlocking this. Disengagement actually seems pretty good. Every 2 minutes, if you drop below 20% health, it like saves your life. Is it so good that I want to take it right now? Let's see. This is not reliable. Efficiency is cool, and it will be useful as we keep getting higher up, as enemies do more and more damage to our stuff. At some point, we're going to want to lose alienation, and maybe at that point we take disengagement, but I think this is what I'm going to do for right now. And we are not going to flask just yet. Do I want to do any reforging? Probably can't afford to buy the level up on the grenade, right? It's going to be like 20k? Yeah, wow, 27 even. Alright, we are definitely saving for plus additions on our damage reduction items. Here we go. I think the weapons we have should be pretty good for fighting this guy. It's sometimes hard to get him with turrets, but the crossbow-matic turret, at least, does do a pretty good job of aiming up and down to hit stuff. That was the wrong button. Boy, he really, really is slow, doesn't he? Okay, that happened quickly. What? I took damage from that. The tentacles were dead before... Alright. I guess he put me into crit mode. Ah. Okay, so now we have to drink. Wow, that did an amount of damage that I think is maybe a little unfair, especially considering that after the first hit, it's actually guaranteed to hit you. Because it froze me in place. Not totally ideal. Also, I hit the wrong button there. Okay, that was a little scary. That really comes at you. That's not great, because now he's going to come out of that and still do the attack. I still have to wait. And these crits are pretty good. We're going to be in second tentacle phase any second now. Or third, rather. Okay, apparently we're just going to tear through the tentacles as fast as possible. They seem to be getting a little stymied by the presence of the turret. Try to make sure that I'm rolling when the one that is flying across the room comes through. I froze him a little higher in the air than I probably should have. Okay, I mean, that worked. That was probably the fastest kill we've ever gotten on him. This knife is alright. This is an okay knife. So a blood sword that scales with purple, though. That's worth considering. It has okay DPS. I think we're going to skip it. I am happier with this knife. It's not high enough level. We're going to do Graveyard again. At some point, the shovel design is going to drop. It is going to happen. So, putting 20 cells into this doesn't really accomplish a lot for us right now. What would I rather be working on? A lot of these weapons are not that great. We have a lot of stuff to spend on. This one's not bad. Spite is still maybe interesting. Cursed Sword is probably not a thing that I could ever use. You know what? The Assassin's Dagger is actually pretty cool. Let's spend toward that. So, let's grab this. Figure out what we want to do about our gold. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this. Victims burn, slowdown lasts forever, shots pierce all enemies. That was a really good reforge. Okay, I have hope. I really, actually, honestly think we can do this. I might want to hit a flask charge here. Like, as much as I want to hold on to the auto crits, we can be killed by a single hit at this moment. So, yeah, let's... I wanted to just, like, have full flask for a little while, you know? Just to remember what that was like. I guess we should... Just in case. Is there anything between us and the door? Wow, really? That's extremely classy. Okay. It happens in a situation where there's no enemies around or anything, so we can't, like, get any of the health back. That sucks. It has gotten us to, like, almost exactly 50% health, though. Like, really close. So we're getting the crits while actually being probably as safe as we could possibly be while getting the crits. There's some upside. Okay, that's a radish. Free radish. We'll definitely be taking that in a minute here. Where is the... Wow. Okay. The crossbow, not quite fast enough to hit that guy once he has decided he is going to hit you. Now see, this is the opposite. This is the worst version of not having crits. I'm basically at 50% health, but... Okay, he is dead. Yeah, man, that's a really impressive slow. That's a very long, very powerful slow. Get up! Mashing on jump over here. Just does not want to crawl up this platform. These are being very difficult to hit. There we go. One of these days, the item that we find in there is actually going to be good for us. Alright, so where are we at stat-wise? 214.3 in the graveyard. It does not feel bad. I think we will, if we have the opportunity to take a curse, which we will, right? There's always a cursed chest or two in the end area. I think we probably do take it. Like, I'd love to be able to get back to full health. I would also love to have all my charges back. That would be cool. Glory of our illustrious ruler will skin you alive. Hey, cool. A brave and courageous message. That's an animal head. Someone left a cow's head here. Whoever it was, he was a bit of an artist. He carefully traced the king's coat of arms on the animal's forehead. Wow, that's fairly screwed up. Why did it shoot the arrow, like, on that upward trajectory? Why isn't it shooting straight? That's weird. Okay, maybe at this point we wouldn't take the thing. I would really like to get some free health, basically. Yeah, see, it seems to aim the arrow up, like the point it's aiming for on the chain guys is their head. So when we shoot at a weird bug zombie, we can hit a hook guy behind it, but not vice versa. Very strange. Ow. Too many spikes. There's too many spikes in this graveyard. See, this is why you need a big old graveyard. If you just had fewer spikes around, think how much easier things would be. Okay, so this is a fun chest. I'm so happy we came in here. Yeah, that sucked. First of all, who puts a treasure chest in a graveyard, right? That alone is very strange. Secondly, why put a fake treasure chest in a graveyard? People are here grieving. And then, you know, you put this thing in that, like, brightens their day a little bit. They're like, oh, look at that. We could get some treasure. That'll help us soothe the pain of losing our loved ones. And then it's just full of, like, monstrous... I don't even know what those things are. They're like big flying bugs. Oh, shoot, there we go. Shoot those guys. Also, honestly, the huge statue of death does feel like it's in kind of poor taste. What I'm saying is I think this is a bad graveyard. Okay, miraculously managed to not take any damage at all from the easy-to-avoid obvious traps. Not how I would have expected that to go, given, you know, the damage we've been taking so far. Huh. Could not get my my dude to roll. Alright. Invisible shielded enemies is like a super annoying thing, but it is nice that the shield at least gives away where they are. They're hardly even actually invisible at that point. I guess I probably didn't need to freeze him. Jesus. There are too many enemies here. Do you think these guys are responsible for, like, the extremely weird state of this graveyard? I'm just realizing there's a fair number of presumably intelligent, very antagonistic beings hanging out here in the graveyard. Ooh, a new knife. Yep, that is a considerable upgrade. Losing the grenade is going to suck, but this is a much, much higher base upon which to build something that can actually take us through to the end of the game. But right, like, maybe it's the case that there weren't all of these weird spikes and everything all over the place, and then when all these creepy dudes moved in, they installed this stuff. You know, the weird bug zombies and the hookhead guys with the faces that open. I guess everybody's face opens, but you know what I mean. The faces that open in the wrong direction. The worst possible face. The worst possible direction for your face to open. Here's the thing. This is probably just the Moonflower key, huh? No, it is in fact a tonic. Well, we're going to take this, and we're going to use it. And we're going to put it back down. It's like almost a carrot. It's a considerable portion of a carrot. And also it's 300 gold. That's something. I'm really worried that when this run is over, or like if we get to a point in this run where we find ourselves wanting to get rid of our ice bow, I'm going to suddenly find that I can't defeat enemies who aren't mega slowed anymore. Suddenly. That's kind of already the case. Yeah, we can do this, right? I don't think I actually need it from a health perspective anymore, but I think we can do it. And that being the case, we should, provided that I don't, you know, get trapped. Oh dear, we've reached the end of the area. Well, it is still possible to get stuff done in the... Did I actually get all those? No, okay. There we go. It is still possible to get stuff done in the Sepulcher. Just have to be really careful not to take any damage from the darkness. Also, apparently I missed a scroll over here. There we go. It's nice to have an extremely low cooldown turret. Huh. For some reason that deleted my turret. 2 enemies left. Here we go. Here we are. Also, I suppose we should do this Architect's Key thing. I know that, like, this is just the slowest run in the history of time, but it's also working. We are definitely not taking either of these. One of these days, I'm going to try to do that a little bit too quickly. Okay, yeah. I'm going to try to do that a little bit too quickly, and we're going to end up losing a piece of gear that I really like for a piece of gear that I really don't. Alright, let's just real quickly here go and get the couple of gems, because we really are still starved for money. We have a lot of upgrades that need to be made. So, like, when you're working on low difficulties and you don't have a lot of the plus stuff bought, it's really easy to feel like the game's economy is just broken or poorly designed, because you always have, like, an infinite amount of money that you're not using at all. Man, once you start really getting into it, gold becomes a very precious resource. Okay, I'm glad to be going into this place without the curse on. And at this point, I wonder if maybe we should drop the curse heal. Because I'm not really going to want to take a curse in this area. What was I working on? Ah, the Assassin's Dagger, yeah. That's a fine thing. Which, I mean, that's a thing that is basically fine. It's okay. Even more shields? We could start saving now. You know what? Let's save cells now. For the, for after the boss. That's going to be my plan. Let's upgrade this first. That's a shame. It gave us red instead of purple. Victims emit a toxic cloud. We got our grenade back. Yeah, okay, that was good. Still need 27,000 gold. Oh, I can't reset my mutations. That's fine. We will probably be able to fix this before the final boss. But yeah, I think it's pretty unlikely we're going to take any cursed chests at this point. You know, I don't know that we've ever gotten into the time door in here either. It'd probably be a good idea to make sure that we've gotten into the time door in each area at least once, because there are sometimes blueprints in them. Yeah, I don't think we should take that. We're probably going to be able to get to 20 purple by the time we're done here. That's good enough. We're definitely not taking any of this stuff. They probably should let you sell things directly off of those pedestals. Alright, all I need to do is avoid things getting really stupid in here. Fortunately, I actually think this is one of the easier later areas. Okay. I think we took 3 points of damage from the darkness there. This is just going to be the thing that says... Yeah, I can't keep working here. Alright, that's another thing. We do need to keep exploring some of the other areas, because, like, we haven't done the Stilt Village all that many times, really. And I think that probably we don't have all the lore stuff from there. Let's go and refresh our light at the door and then head back down here. Just leave that right there. Yeah, this weapon is actually pretty great. We have a really good pair of weapons here that I don't know if I really even had an opinion on before. These are both awesome. The frostbow is less... Well, that is just... Huh. I swear to you, I pressed right and then space, but apparently I hit space before the right had actually registered. Well, I guess we did kind of need health. Like, we actually have very, very low health for having as many scrolls as we do, which is gonna always be the case with a purple build. So I guess what I'm saying is, I screwed up, but it probably was fine. It was probably fine. Okay, light, alright. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, do I not have money for cells right now. And the fact that the projectile on this pierces all enemies now is actually super good. Would we want to replace our crossbow-matic with this? Probably not. That's a lot of damage. Nah, it's fine. Again, we're in such a situation with money that we really have to be careful about taking things that will be comparable to our current gear only after an upgrade. I think this is probably the Moonflower door, yeah. What I would really like to have is enough money to do a bunch of rerolling, because I think there's a pretty good chance that we could get plus damage against things that are chilled on at least one of our weapons here. At least one of our cool damage-dealing things. And that would be really, really great against bosses. You can get the plus 175% damage against frozen things pretty easily as well, but that doesn't seem to be quite as worth it to me, because it seems like frozen usually breaks on damage. That's only going to actually do the bonus damage once every time you get a freeze off. Yeah, where is... It's probably above us? Where's the way that we get into that secret room? Down here somewhere, maybe? Probably. Let's check this door out. I think it's just a curse. Nope. It is, in fact, a very small amount of gold. You know, at this point, every bit helps. I would really like to get into that secret area. Yeah, the ice bow's nice, but honestly, a lot of the stuff we're doing with it, we could just be doing with, like, the frost shock or something. It's pretty much just a, get in there, okay. Pretty much just a frost shock that also, has damage reduction on it. And it deals with bats better. So I'm gonna not pull either of these off the pedestal. We're gonna take the tonic and use it at some point, probably. It is currently healing for 323, so... Man, where am I going? Hold on, let me refresh my light here. The teleporter is annoyingly far away. Yeah, now that I rationalized away how my misplay, how my hand mistake there was not a big deal with that scroll. Now I'm looking at our health and actually thinking, man, should I just stop taking purple entirely? I'm a little concerned about our overall health level. Wait a minute, did I see? Okay, no. It's just a door in the background. Thought that prompt had been for a floor room, which I absolutely would have taken. Alright, do we know? Okay, we know where the way forward is. We don't know what is down from this statue. And then we're going to go and check out the... try to find the entrance to that secret room, because there's a gem in there, and it turns out, like, I really, really could use some extra money. Yeah. All this way for a shop at a point in the run where we really, like, just can't spend gold. Shoot, where was that? It was around here somewhere, man. Okay, well, maybe we're not going to worry about it because I don't remember where in the level it was. I kind of don't want to go hunting for it, but also that gem could be like a couple thousand gold, right? Now, there's the clock room. There's the other room that lets you take some damage if you want. None of these emergency carrots are actually that close to teleporters, but also I'm actually only missing 6 health. We're probably fine. I'm just going to move on. My hope is to be able to upgrade the ice grenade before the final boss. I think we might be able to scrape together the money in that amount of time. We're going to save up. Yeah, it's still 27.4. I think this group of items is a group of items that can beat the game. We don't have anything that's particularly stand out, but all of our stuff is good. Also, we have some CC, we have some damage reduction. Like, there's a lot going on here. Oh, what am I doing? Turret needs to be out. You leave that turret alone. Ow. How did I manage to still not dodge that? Just walk away from him. Yeah, this is working. This is going alright. Should probably put this a little bit more central. Nope. Nope. Wow. He blew off the freeze so quickly there that he still was able to hit me. We're definitely not taking a shield, but that's a really good shield. Look at that. Stun duration up 50%. That's got to be like a 3-second stun then. It launches a grenade. Man. Do I want to become a knife and shield guy now at this point in the run? No, probably not. But man, that's a very good shield. Also, if I hadn't gotten hit by that last shot, like if I had realized he was going to do that and started up a crossbow shot right after I threw the grenade, we could very well have, here we go. Just pour 133 cells into this. Okay, I think in 15 cells we're going to get the next level of that. We could have actually gotten out of that fight without taking any real damage, any major damage. Alright, we're going to keep the mutation on for now. My hope is that at the end of High Peak Castle, we have enough money to upgrade that grenade, reset our mutations, and maybe also do a reforge or two on some of our gear, just like try to optimize it a little bit. We'll see. pretty good. Pretty alright. I will say, with the infinite penetration, this thing is definitely doing some stuff that the Frost Shock cannot do. Make sure I'm not missing any, like, runes in walls or anything, because a little bit of food would definitely be welcome. We are maybe in a position here to have, like, a real amount of flask left for the Hand of the King, too. It's a shame there's no penetration on the turret, but also that won't actually be, like, that helpful for the boss, so I'm not too worried about it. Kill him, kill him, kill him! Aww. Not that it's a big deal, because obviously we can just make another turret. Surprise! Teamwork. I turned around a little bit too early there. I was trying to already get the arrow lined up on this dude. Take one thing at a time here. I was about to ask why that guy was already injured, since I hadn't actually been over here yet. Huh. I'm surprised I took damage from that spear hit. I thought I was pretty far out of the way. Apparently there's a pretty significant horizontal on that. But then I realized the spikes were there. Enemies will totally just walk into spikes over and over again if they're at the level of their walk, at the level of the ledge on which they are walking. Alright, so a pretty good symmetrical lance. I think we just stick with the knife we have now. It's working. It's really good, actually. And if things get rough at all against the final boss, the crits on low health will actually probably be extremely useful. That sucked. That was a lot of those dudes. Alright, so we actually are going to try to kill, like, just basically every enemy because we need the gold so badly. Am I going to be able to access this without getting hit by those spikes? I think there's a non-zero chance that as soon as this ends... Okay, we didn't take damage. This sucks. Nope, get out of there, get out of there. Okay. Oh, wow, this is bad. Okay, we're going to go fight these guys for a second. Get that handled. Okay, the turret's dead, but so is the guy. I'm not sure what happened there. What is going on here? Huh. A weird little secret area. Can't imagine what would make me want to spend money at this point. Man, this level is huge. That's not going to work. Alright, I'll be back. Hold on. We've gained an awful lot of health over just like the last couple of areas. Nope, no. This is slowly getting there. He'll die eventually. Unfortunately, that turret won't live to see it. Never mind. The turret, apparently, is the winner. That's a really cool graphical effect when these guys attack through a wall like that. That was almost really embarrassing. I almost fell into that trap. I'll deal with you later. We're just gonna let the... Wow, really? That was a lot of damage from an incredible distance. Did you see how it actually takes... The damage from that attack actually happens, like, before the attack itself does? That sucks. I took damage while his sword was still in the air. Please stop destroying my turret. This is kind of not great, actually. Hold on a second. We didn't actually kill this guy over here, did we? No. Okay, so... I don't really want to use my flask. Like, I'd love to go into the boss fight with full flask. It's probably just not gonna happen. Okay. Like, also, I'm trying to keep hope alive over here about, like, there could be a food shop. We could just find a radish. Be a secret radish somewhere. No, let's not lose the game at this point. In an incredibly stupid way. We do have the money for... we have the money for the upgrade on the ++ grenade, and we have the money for fixing our mutations. But we could still make enough money here to do some rerolls. Reforging. I guess we should probably go up and left from the door we just came out of. That looks like that. It looks like there's not actually anything up here. Yeah. Oh, there's a secret door. Probably shouldn't keep pushing that. Just let him do his thing. Ah! Well, that was crappy. Yeah, those gems, the value scales up very significantly throughout the course of the game. Ow. Alright, show me something really cool. That is not cool enough. We could still, from a treasure chest in here, get a ++ item. And have something that is 7++, which would be actually really cool. That would be a powerful item. Let's climb up here and see what's in this shop. Again, it's hard to imagine a thing I would want to spend money on at this point. But I guess that's the value of having the ability for double plus items to drop. Like, they remain really great even after you've already chipped in on other stuff. So it adds a little bit of suspense to the shops and the treasure chests and whatnot at this point. Whereas, without them, we would just know that it's not even really worth looking. We know we're not going to find anything. We don't actually have to do this, but if we do this, we do get an additional scroll. Right, that the door behind the third key has a scroll behind it. So I guess let's go for it. Wow, there we go. That sucks. We have the damage to get the kill if we can hit him the first time before he starts the wind up on that attack. Wow. That was something. Thought I had a little bit more time. Speaking of the wind up of attacks, you know? It's gonna be over here. Sure, it's a team player. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Nope. Do not give those guys as long as you think you have. Their attacks are faster. Should we explore? I mean, we have a ton of money. We're fine. Let's just go. Let's just try to find our way out of this cursed place. Actually, there's a mark on the ground below us. Oh, this won't be the exit, but it could still be something cool. It is not, right? 640 DPS. It's not worth... Oh, maybe it is worth replacing our current turret because... we can definitely... we can probably afford to plus this too, right? We're going to have almost 20k left after fixing the grenade. I think we're going to be able to afford to do this. Because we're not even done with the zone yet, right? There's still money to be made. Well, I would swear to you I was rolling. Okay. So we're going to go into the... that's not a place that I can actually climb up. We're going to go into the final boss fight with actually probably only one flask charge. Not great. Unless we can find a radish or something. Come on, please don't spin. There we go. The exit must be all the way down and to the left. This has become a pretty huge video. Man, I better not screw this up. At this point, at the end of all this, I have my head on a pike. Apparently I had almost, but not quite killed that guy. Not sure how that happened. Let's let that sword dude tire himself out. So there's even more passageway here. Where does this go? We don't need that. Huh. This is an interesting little secret area. Oh, it can't quite damage him. It does seem like the crawlers get to bite him, though, without totally unfreezing him, which is cool. I wonder if it's the case that you get you can deal a certain amount of damage before the freeze breaks. And the reason that it seems like freeze always breaks on damage is just that, generally speaking, the player hits hard enough to pass that value. So there's always a couple of 6+ items in here as well. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, I'm not too happy with the amount of damage that we took at the end there. This went from feeling very certain to feeling very uncertain. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Did I see... No, okay, it was just like these weird floating lens flare effects. We should probably use stuff here, because we're not going to... There's no forge after the final boss. So what do we want to unlock? We can start putting toward, like, additional gold at the beginning of the run. You know what? We're at the point where this actually, I think, makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this happens. Victims burn. Does a lot of slowing. That would be 37,000 to upgrade? That's crazy. Okay, well, I did not realize that that was going to be like that. Okay, what else do we want to reforge? We could try mixing up the modifiers on this a little bit. I don't think we got great ones here. Oof, I hate that, though. Victims burn. Upon thawing, the enemy suffers from bleeding. That's cool. We already have a thing that keeps the slow after thaw forever. And then it's just like, do I want to reforge this thing? Plus a huge amount of damage to a frozen target while still keeping the launch grenade is probably as good as we're going to get. Plus big damage to a frozen target. The swarm of biting worms isn't that relevant. Probably we could reforge this a little bit. Plus damage to a burning target. I don't actually have a way of starting a fire. Like, all this stuff only starts a fire on death. That's also not that good. Like, I'm pretty sure the plus 175 damage to a frozen target only applies to the initial hit of this thing, not the bleed that's left behind. Alright, well, that's all of our money. That's what we got. I didn't reforge my mutations. I needed to save... whatever. Whatever, it's fine. We'll just have to deal. I really should have, though. That... annoyed. Okay. We have one flash charge. We could reasonably get the you didn't quite die effect twice here, as long as I play well after the second flask charge. This is still very doable. This is still totally doable. I'm trying to reassure myself. Okay, it looks like we... Oh, we did get a freeze eventually. I can't freeze him with the bow, but I can freeze him with the... Oh, no. Huh. The bow freeze didn't work the first time we hit him. Ugh, that sucked. Okay, I think what happened is he shielded it. I didn't realize he can just block a ranged attack. Okay, I'm doing a better job than usual of avoiding his attacks. Right, the symmetrical lance does that stuff. Okay. I should know how his attacks work. I've used his weapon enough. We're not going to get this, though. Like, at this point, I would have to avoid all damage for a really... Man, I pressed Q after I turned around instead of before. There doesn't seem to be any way to predict what he's going to do in his combo. Like, he does the first attack, and then he either goes into the second attack or he jumps. And whichever one it is, he does it immediately, and there's no tell. It's not... It didn't look to me like there's a different version of the first attack. I don't know. That's tough, because the thing that you should do after the first attack is very different, based on which second attack he's going to do. Well, obviously, we still have some learning to do. That is going to be the end of this episode. That is the end of these two episodes that I've bolted together here. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time. I don't know. I guess there's going to be some more Dead Cells for a while. I'm not going to make any commitments about how many, but come back next time. There's going to be at least one more. And we'll see you then.